Hello and welcome back to Visit Fylde Coast. October is upon us. I'm filming this in the seasons of mist and mellow fruitfulness. All the trees are starting to go brown. And we're in Fleetwood today, we're at the museum. We're going to go and take a look around this really interesting place, which is absolutely full of local history and all kinds of interesting things from Fleetwood and the areas past. And if you've never been, this is a taster to whet your appetite, because you really need to come and have a look, and it's really good value and it's a brilliant attraction. So don't forget, make sure that you've subscribed, you've got all your notifications enabled, and you've signed up for your Visit Fylde Coast email newsletter, because then you'll find out all about the events that they put on as well, because they do loads of different stuff. Right, let's go and have a look, shall we? I'll show you the view that I'm actually stood facing. So this is the channel of the River Wyre, this river here. It goes all the way inland in that direction, and then that way it goes out to sea. So just down here is the Esplanade and the ferry, and just round this corner the North Euston Hotel. And this area here at the back of the trees, the autumnal looking trees, is where the original Fleetwood railway station was, and that's kind of key to, in fact, I'll tell you what, we'll just have a look through the fence, shall we? It's kind of key to the story of Fleetwood Museum, because this is where once upon a time all of the trains used to come from down south, and they used to disembark here on this land just down here. And then people used to catch a ferry from Fleetwood all the way to the Lake District, which is over there, because that was the only way to get to the Lake District. So that's really how this building's history kind of started. So this is Queen's Terrace, which is one of the old original buildings as well. And all these properties on the seafront at Queen's Terrace are all the old original ones. So the museum is the cream one in the middle. This one on the left-hand side is known as the Doll's House, which is also one of theirs. And this one on the right-hand side here is number 8, which has recently come into their ownership. So this is all the Fleetwood Museum estate, as you might say. So we're going to go and take a look, and we're going to go and see what's inside. So this is the main museum building that you'll visit today, and this was built in 1838, and it was financed by Sir Peter Hesketh Fleetwood and designed by Decimus Burton. And of course now it is a blue plaque building, as you can see just at the side of the door there if you watched our blue plaque video. It's had loads of different uses over the years as well, and in recent days, in 2018, they started the restoration of the frontage and took all the old render off, and that took quite a long time to do. That was finished in 2021. But there's been all kinds of incarnations and different uses for it. It's been an urban district council, it's been the town hall, it's been the finance department for Wyre Council, it's been an Emmanuel Christian school, and then Fleetwood Museum opened, and there's loads of original historic features in it. Fleetwood Museum opened in 1991, and over the years it's grown and become a really lovely, buzzing building. So you come into this main reception area. On the left is the shop and the coffee shop, upstairs to the exhibits, and this way to exhibits as well. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a look around. This is Keith and Sue. We're both going to run out of my way. These are the mainstays of the museum. Sure. And the first gallery that you come into is this one on the right hand side, and this is the two chaps themselves with their new exhibit called Nothing to Now. So this is a short video that takes you from 1838 and 1840 all the way through to today. So that's an interesting thing to watch, and there's even some chairs, look, as well, for you to take a seat. So this is Sir Peter Hesketh Fleetwood on the left, And this is Decimus Burton on the right, and they're the guys who founded everything that you look at and that you see in Fleetwood. And this always intrigues me. This is the kind of thing I remember from when I was a little girl, and the old people that we used to visit and go and look at. This is from the 1900s, so it's a bit before my time, but that's a period recreation of an original Fleetwood house. So the next gallery that you come into explains all about the history of the port, with loads of memorabilia and old things from the past. And this is the layout of the original docks and railway station, which is fascinating. And then this is the deep sea exhibition, and there's little models of different trawlers and ships and paintings and films and all kinds of exhibits and the different baskets that people used. And then round the back of there as well is some of the internal fittings and fixtures off the Jacinta, which of course used to be moored at Fleetwood Dock. Right, so we're on the first floor now. Look, the sun's shining. And we've got a very, very big whale skull. And this is the inshore gallery, which explains all about inshore fishing and the lives of the guys that would have gone out each day catching fish to feed local people. It's all really interesting. The next gallery that you come to is the story of Fisherman's Friend, which of course is made a hop, skip and a jump just around the corner in Fleetwood and exported all the way around the world. So if you like these little lozenges, I must say I quite like the blackcurrant ones, you can find out all about them in here and find out how they're made and where they're made. And this is some of their old equipment from the company that they donated to the museum. From Fisherman's Friends you go to Royal Naval Patrol, and then the next gallery that you come to is the Fleetwood story. So there's loads and loads of information and things to find in every corner. Now this is an interesting one. I've read about Fleetwood's fishing queen on the good old internet, and apparently the collections assistant Zara had made enquiries about this because she knew this robe existed, and it was found in a dressing up box in Lancaster, and it's got all the fish and the regalia on the bottom of it. So much like people would have had a Sunday school queen, Fleetwood had a fishing queen. It's a lovely robe. So you can see that there's loads and loads of old memorabilia and information and films and just loads of stuff. It's really interesting. Bilton's marionettes. That's an old one. And that's Sir Peter as well. That looks like a marble bust actually. Let's have a look. Yeah, it is marble. That must be an older one. Very interesting. I could just enjoy spending an hour walking around reading everything. And from there we're going to the RNLI gallery. So this is all about the charity that saves lives at sea and how they rescue people. Goodness me, services of the Fleetwood lifeboats and Letitia Russell. Wow. And then you can dress up as a lifeboat person. And the next one is this last can. Apparently exhibitions in museums are mostly about men, so Fleetwood decided to do one about women, and I particularly like that up there. This will make Kevin smile when he watches it back. Our mums wear the trousers around here. And Eagle-Eyed Jane spotted the original shutters as well as I came through. Aren't these beautiful? They're in the original casings and all the original ironwork on the doors as well. I really like them. It's worth coming just to see that shutter. So there's all about all sorts of different Fleetwood women and the things that they've achieved over the years. There's domestic science. Oh, goodness me, that takes me back. That's like one of my school books, that. Goodness. There's modern women on this wall. There's a usherette's jacket and a little cinema chair. Which explains about salt and the salt mines and how this area was so important in salt mining, which is quite interesting. The history of Priestley salt mining. He's a salt miner. He's a salt miner and how they did it. And the light that they did it by. Imagine doing all this underground with only a candle for company. And then we're off down to the shop, the cafe, which is the important bit, of course, via the toilets and the stairs back down to the ground floor. Unfortunately, it's stairs. There's no lift in this building, built in 1838. They didn't have things like that. We're at the back of the main building now, and we're in the Harriet boat shed. And this whopping great big thing is the Harriet. This is what's left of her. And the Harriet was an original Fleetwood fishing boat, and you can explore all of the history. You can see all of the bits of rigging and all the equipment and everything that they used. And there's loads of information about it within the boat shed. She's not in a very good state of repair at the moment, though, is she, poor Harriet? She dates to 1893, so it's not really a surprise, is it? And this is a fishing smack of this kind. Where's she gone? That one. Just imagine going to sea in that with all the old, original, primitive equipment. It must have been a really, really hard life. So there's all kinds of equipment in here, and the guides will explain to you what's what and show you around and show you what there is to look at. This is some more of the memorabilia and the equipment that's in. That's a big anchor, isn't it? And this is it from the other side. It's a big boat. So we've had a look around the main building, and now we're going to have a little peek inside number 8. This is fascinating, and this makes me feel very, very old. So they've not had this property for very long at all, and it's kind of clean and tidy, but it's awaiting its future. Let's just shut the door. It's awaiting its future because inside there are loads of original features and all kinds of original things. So I'm going to take you down into the basement first, and I'm going to show you what's down here, because this is, honestly, it's brilliant. Well, first of all, look at the floor. Look how the treads are all worn from feet coming up and down. And there's a full original cast iron range. There's all the original cupboards. I don't know how old that table is, but it's certainly not young. And then in the back here, there's another fire. We were just trying to decide what the servants might have used this room for, possibly to do the bookkeeping and order the food and whatnot. So if you come to the museum for a normal admission visit, when there are small groups of people that want to come and look round, you can come into here with one of the volunteers and have a look at it. And it's honestly, if you're my age or older, it's like going back in time. Stone sinks. There's a copper in the corner. Goodness me. And then in this next room here, there's all this is obviously the larder, and there's all the meat hooks in the ceiling where they would have hung the meat. And this is where the slate shelves would have been in the coal to keep the food fresh. Because of course they didn't have any fridges in those days, did they? So at the moment they are doing loads of work to look at the actual fabric of the building and determine what they've got. So they're going to be doing some analysis of paint samples and the various materials that have been used within the building. I'm going to take you up to the top floor because this bathroom is worth seeing. Look at these old cupboards. It's amazing. There's a public consultation still open until about Christmas time this year, 2024. So if you want to put your comments in about how this house could be best used, look at that for a throne. That's a Bobby Dazzler, that, isn't it? It's a proper throne. You can fill in a leaflet that you can get at the museum, and then all the people who put their ideas forward, they'll all be taken into consideration when they work up a final plan for what the building is actually going to be like and how it's going to be presented. Look at that for an old cast iron, I would say late 60s, early 70s bathroom, and look at that wallpaper. Hey, dear me, did it make you feel old? And there's an original fireplace in this room as well. Look at that. Amazing. So that's another good reason to come to Fleetwood Museum. You'll be able to see this in its current state as it is at the minute, before anything's done to it and before it starts getting restored and cleaned up, and then you'll be able to come back in subsequent years and see the progress of it. Look at the painting on the edge of the floor where there's been a carpet runner down the middle. I'm showing my age, aren't I? Very interesting. So last stop, this is the gift shop. The gift shop and the cafe are both open without needing to pay admission to the museum, although the admission is very, very much worth it. So there's some nice little seaside themed knickknacks and stuff for kids and toys and things in here. But there's also loads of properly local gifts, pictures, postcards, all that kind of thing, information about the local area. So it's definitely worth popping in. If you're walking past at any time and you want to just pop in and have a look, you can come in with pleasure. Get your fisherman's friends, loads of local books as well, plenty of things for you to all read, and a really good selection of locally published authors as well. I've got that Return to Windmill Land. In fact, I've got quite a few of these old Ordnance Survey maps. This is hilarious. I tittered all the way through that. So there's loads of things in here that you can pop in and pick up. And then if I just go through here, this is the cafe. So you can have something to eat, you can have a bite to eat, you can have a coffee, you can have a brew. And that stained glass window at the back is from the old Fleetwood Grammar School, and it was unveiled in the cafe in 2010, taken out when the school closed. Could particularly recommend Lancashire crumpets, toasted with Lancashire cheese and served with red onion chutney. Oh, that sounds lovely. And then back out into the sunshine. Back out into the sunshine. So that's Fleetwood Museum. It's an absolute fascinating place. This is the little doll's house. I'm going to do a separate video about that because that's where they raise money for the museum. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure that you've signed up for your Visit Fylde Coast email newsletter. And if you come to the museum, don't forget to tell them that you saw it here on Visit Fylde Coast. And we'll see you later. Bye for now.